Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. It is April the 17th, 2022, and tonight is the second day of the NBA playoffs. It was a great great day yesterday, but I think the entire NBA is waiting for today at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. The Nets take on the Celtics. The Nets visit the Celtics, and it's what everybody wants, right? Because you get the Kyrie and KD show taking on the Celtics of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. But I think the X factor here is Andre Drummond, and Bruce Brown pretty much said it, that gave away their strategy, saying that we're just going to keep feeding Andre Drummond the ball. So my question to you guys is, who do you think is going to win? Like, I get it. There's a couple NBA games on tonight. Bucks taking on Chicago Bulls. Miami taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Phoenix Suns taking on the Pelicans. But, you kind of want to see the main event. And the main event, Celtics versus the Nets. So who do you guys got? Tell me what you think. Watch this clip first with Stephen A. doing his thing, Perk talking about it, Jalen Rose talking about it. Make sure you check this clip out, and then we'll review and analyze it in a second.
Thank you from Los Angeles with Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Rose. Greeny here, and so we look ahead to our game on ABC. Game one between the Nets and the Celtics, maybe the most intriguing of the first-round matchup. Stephen A., what do you expect?
Well, I expect the greatness of Kevin Durant to come shining through. I think that Kyrie Irving is going to put on a show as well, but that won't stop Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown from putting on their version of a show. The dynamic duo in Boston versus the dynamic duo in Brooklyn. Of course, other people will be around, the Marcus Smarts of the world and others, to make their contribution, but the series is going to be close enough where it's going to come down to greatness, and we're going to find out that Kevin Durant is just on a level that no one else is on.
Stephen A. is box office, so of course he's going to talk about the superstars. I'll go talk about some role players. You mentioned Marcus Smart, who I voted Defensive Player of the Year. And let me tell you why his role is going to be critical. He leads the Celtics in assists, but also in steals. But defensively, the guard play of the Nets drives them other than Kevin Durant. Kyrie, Seth Curry, or Patty Mills, those three guys in particular, defending them, but also making them work defensively, using his size, using his physicality.
Here's the problem. First of all, I got Mikal Bridges as my Defensive Player of the Year, not Marcus Smart. It was close, but I went with Bridges, number one. Number two, here's the mistake I believe Jalen Rose makes. He keeps bringing up Marcus Smart and what he's done in Boston. Well, who used to be in Boston with him? If anybody's familiar with him, it's Kyrie Irving. Now, this is a magician offensively who has familiarity with that defensive stalwart known as Marcus Smart. I know what Marcus Smart can do defensively, but he's going against Kyrie Irving. And I think Kyrie Irving's going to have something to say about that.
But when you're going against those great players, you're not going to slow them down. You just want to bring their percentages down. And Boston guards are good defensively. Injury may also be a factor, depending on if Robert Williams come back for the Celtics and or Ben Simmons plays for the Nets.
So strength against strength, obviously, is Brooklyn's offense and Boston's defense. How about the other way? Can the Nets get stops they need in key moments?
No. That's the problem for the Nets, and that's why I think the Celtics have a hair edge, in my opinion, to win this series for that reason you just said.
I would have picked the Boston Celtics if Robert Williams III wasn't injured. But because he's injured, at least for the first few games of this series, I think that's going to be enough for Brooklyn to pull it out.
Speaking of the first few games of this series, we will wait and see if Ben Simmons will make an appearance. It's going to be very intriguing. We'll see if the countdown. Right now, back to Sports Center.
Yeah, the first round of the NBA playoffs continuing today. KD, Kyrie, and the Nets taking on Jay Tatum and Jay Brown and the Celtics in game one of the series on ABC. 3:30 Eastern. Our coverage starts a half hour earlier with NBA Countdown. Both also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere from the indoor game to the outdoor game.
Let's get to another series in the East that starts today, and the one that is probably circled, Corey, maybe on every basketball fan's calendar. It's the Nets and the Celtics. Boston won 3 of the 4 meetings in the regular season, but we know KD missed 2 of those games. So who do you see being the X factor in this series?
Honestly, the X factor in this series to me is going to be Andre Drummond. When the Philadelphia 76ers made the trade with the Brooklyn Nets, they gave up their depth. They also gave up Drummond and the offensive rebounding, the opportunities that he gets for his team in second chance points. And more importantly, when you consider Robert Williams III is no longer going to be playing for the Celtics throughout the playoff run, this is a big void to fill when you have to deal with a guy like Drummond who gets you so many extra opportunities on the offensive glass.
So we talked about what happened between these two teams during the regular season. Who do you have? Nets, Celtics? What do we think?
I think this is going to be the series that everyone is looking forward to. I believe it will be a 7-game series, but I've got the Brooklyn Nets. KD, who's tied for the best player in the game, being in charge in Game 7 and getting the win over my little brother, Jason Tatum.
There you go. Talk that talk. Corey Alexander with the very latest, and we'll see what happens. The winner of Game 1, Corey, in a best-of-7 series goes on to win the series 76% of the time. Corey Alexander, thanks.
So I think my pick would be the Nets. And it's simple, right? When Robert Williams went down, I remember saying to everybody, this is a huge loss. I automatically saw them coming back and, capturing their 18th title. But with Robert Williams out, you cannot deny the fact that they do not have a superior presence in the paint. They got Andre Drummond for a reason, and I expect him to get 20 points, if not more, tonight. That's 100% sure. That's my prediction. Tell me what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment section. Who is going to win tonight, Nets or the Celtics? This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.